Days of Our Lives says away from Salem, Penghlis has confirmed via social media that Tony is definitely returning, and that his comeback is tied to what he calls a chess match unlike anything he has played before. For viewers who grew up on the great soap opera boardroom battles of the 1980s and 1990s, that phrase alone is reason enough to install fresh batteries in the remote and settle in for the ride. The tweet that set Salem buzzing late on the evening of June 11th, Penghlis posted a vintage promo shot of himself, circa the shoulder pad era, leaning over a chessboard. The accompanying caption was short but tantalizing. Just got word that Tony DiMera won't be back on #DOOL until Friday, June 20th. Entering an intriguing story with players I've never met. But we're playing a game of chess. Who will win? Within minutes the comments section erupted. Some longtime viewers cheered, others begged for spoilers, and a few wondered whether Tony might at last inherit the DiMera throne now that siblings EJ and Stefan are feuding with cousin Chad. By midnight the post had been shared more than 3,000 times, generating the kind of viral excitement rarely seen outside a royal wedding or the Super Bowl. Clearly, Tony still pulls ratings. Where we last left Tony when Tony was written off in early 2023, he left Salem to shepherd a philanthropic initiative in Europe, an exit that felt as sudden as it was ambiguous. His marriage to the irrepressible Anna Fredericks DiMera was on firm footing, but his business stake in DiMera Enterprises remained unresolved. In the intervening years, we have heard only occasional references to Tony, usually delivered by a wistful Anna clutching her signature feathered boa. Two key events have since shaken the DiMera empire: Titan's hostile takeover, in an unlikely alliance, ex-pirate turned exec Xander Cook and prodigal playboy Philip Kyriakis orchestrated a corporate coup, snapping up a controlling interest in DiMera Enterprises while the DiMeras bickered among themselves. Titan renamed the conglomerate Titan DiMera Global, angering virtually everyone with the surname DiMera. John Black's funeral, the death of John Black, a tragedy that still feels surreal, served as a gathering ground for nearly every Salem resident except, notably, Tony. His absence left a gaping hole. Fans openly wondered whether Tony's grief was being reserved for a larger story. With these threads dangling, Tony's return resembles a missing puzzle piece that finally snaps into place. A story to satisfy old-school fans. Sources inside the Day's writer's room have not publicly confirmed details, but daytime drama veterans can read the tea leaves. A game of chess suggests boardroom warfare, where alliances shift as easily as bishops and rooks, and one wrong move means checkmate. For viewers 65 and older, many of whom watched J.R. Ewing double-cross oil barons on Dallas, this upcoming arc promises a nostalgic blend of corporate intrigue, family betrayal, and romantic angst. Imagine Tony returning to find scripts and accountants where DiMera henchmen once plotted kidnappings. Titan's board installs Philip as interim CEO, while Xander lords over the security division, and both men expect Tony to be a cordial figurehead. But Tony has survived assassins, brain switches, and Stefano's brand of fatherly affection. He is hardly a ceremonial pawn. Insiders whisper that Tony will exercise a little-used codicil in Stefano's will, a clause giving him veto power over any merger conducted without unanimous DiMera consent. Armed with that legal bombshell, Tony may force Titan to renegotiate, or face a lengthy court battle that risks bankrupting both families. Salem tabloids will call it the War of the White Collars, and the stakes could stretch from the courthouse to the dim corridors beneath DiMera Mansion. Anna's role, queen on the board. No Tony story is complete without Anna, whose sharp wit, boundless self-confidence, and occasional skewering of DiMera protocol have endeared her to fans for decades. Expect Anna to serve as Tony's advisor and emotional anchor, even as other DiMeras tempt her with promises of champagne-soaked charity galas in exchange for inside information. Anna also carries a secret. She was in silent negotiations with Titan's charity wing to fund Children Without Borders, hoping to honor her late daughter, Carrie. If Titan controls the purse strings, Anna may be torn between Tony's quest for justice and her own humanitarian goals. Soap opera gold is forged from such moral dilemmas, and Penghlis himself has hinted that Tony's opponent is someone he has never met, raising the possibility that Xander might attempt to charm Anna into becoming Titan's goodwill ambassador, fracturing the DiMera marriage just as Tony launches his counteroffensive. The younger generation Salem in 2025 is overflowing with 20-something relatives who bear historic surnames. Tony's return could place him in mentor mode, guiding nieces Sydney and Grace as they vie for digital marketing supremacy, or counseling nephew Thomas DiMera on the dangers of ambition. Expect poignant scenes in which Tony, ever the gentleman, shares scotch with his younger kin, reminding them that power without conscience destroyed many a DiMera. For older viewers, these moments offer a multi-generational perspective reminiscent of the quarter-century arcs that made soaps a daily ritual. They also underscore Tony's evolution. Once a schemer desperate for Stefano's approval, he now embodies the voice of seasoned wisdom. Will Tony attend John's memorial? A lingering question among fans aged 65 and above, many of whom fondly recall Tony and John's tense camaraderie in the 1990s, is whether the Count will visit Marlena to pay his respects. Social media speculation suggests a June 23 episode may feature a quiet memorial scene at Horton Square. If true, it promises catharsis not only for characters but for viewers who felt cheated when Tony skipped the funeral. Expect gentle piano music, a black trench coat, and a tender hug between Tony and Marlena as she thanks him for braving old rivalries to honor John. A tale told in 2 acts. Penghlis's tweet hinted at unfamiliar players, leading many to suspect that a mysterious European conglomerate might try to outbid both Titan and the DiMeras. Picture Tony forging a temporary alliance with Xander, yes, you read that correctly, to repel a greater threat. Loyalists will balk, but chess masters know that sometimes one must sacrifice a knight to protect the king. Act 1, late June through July, will likely cover Tony's sudden re-entry, the legal maneuvering, and simmering tensions. Act 2, August sweeps, could explode with boardroom votes, surprise poison pill clauses, and a ghost from Tony's past. Perhaps a long-thought-dead board member, arriving to claim the last share in the company. Why this matters for longtime viewers: for those aged 65 and older, who have faithfully watched tragedies, romances, and resurrections unfold at 1 p.m. each weekday, Tony's storyline is more than entertainment. It is a return to form, a reminder that soap operas can still deliver slow-burn suspense driven by character, not just shock, baby switches. Viewers who once gathered around rabbit-ear TVs will now stream on tablets, but the emotional payoff remains. Penghlis, now comfortably in his 70s, understands this audience intimately. In interviews he often speaks of honoring Day's history. By framing the plot as a chess game, he invokes a cerebral challenge rather than physical violence, a narrative pace many mature viewers prefer. Counting the days, mark your calendars. Friday, June 20th is when Tony strolls back into the DiMera boardroom. Whether he arrives in a trench coat with that trademark half-smile or storms in brandishing legal documents, one thing is certain: Salem's equilibrium will shift. Corporate titans will tremble, old loves will spark, and at least one priceless vase in the DiMera mansion will probably smash against a marble fireplace. So brew a fresh pot of coffee, or steep your favorite herbal tea. Nestle into your favorite armchair, and prepare to witness a grandmaster make his move. The chessboard is set, the pieces are in motion, and Count Tony DiMera is ready to prove that in Salem, the game is never truly over until the last pawn falls. For fans who have journeyed with Tony since that first glint in his eye back in 1981, his newest adventure promises something rare, a storyline that respects the past while daring to imagine a future no one saw coming. And if history is any guide, Tony will play to win. A familiar face for a new chapter. For more than 4 decades, viewers of Days of Our Lives have welcomed Count Anthony, Tony DiMera into their living rooms like an unpredictable, but always fascinating, houseguest. First introduced in 1981 as the worldly, debonair son of Stefano DiMera, Tony quickly became both a romantic lead and a schemer capable of dazzling finesse. Over the years, fans have watched him survive fake deaths, tropical island captivity, and even brainwashing. Through it all, veteran actor Theo Penghlis has lent Tony a refined charm that set him apart from other DiMeras, including his dark-hearted doppelganger Andre.